He has a relentless curiosity, and you can see that. You could see that in his style of running a business at ProClarity when he and I were there together. But in the way that he thinks, he puts things in context many times by just thinking about historical references or digging up historical references and putting those into some context of how to solve a problem.
Bob asks questions. He's always looking for new ways to do things to improve himself and his organization. So he's an aggressive learner.
Well, one of the things that Bob brings to, I think, any situation that I've seen him in is enormous passion. I mean, Bob really cares about the things that he decides to get involved in.
And then I met this one character who had this idea about how to create a new business inside of Extended Systems that would be a really interesting, potentially big business. And I was listening to him, and my first impression was, this guy must be from Montana or somewhere, you know, because he's got kind of this country, you know, charm, and you know, he's not the sort of Silicon Valley polished sort of character. But I thought, man, this guy's pretty smart, and he's really passionate about this creating this new business.
He's been involved in education for Idaho for at least 10 years, worked very hard on that. I remember when he first started getting involved in it, he's the kind of person that will jump into anything, and he was just all over it.
But he also believes passionately that by working together, we can significantly continue to enhance and improve the quality of education in this state. And that imperative is absolutely key, because without that, this state will not be competitive in the 21st century.
And that he wants to interact with the next generation. He's desperately hoping to keep young people here and grow the community of young people who will then join his firm, but also start new businesses in the future. That's just phenomenal to me.
But he also, besides the passion, brings an ability, I think, to challenge all of us in all the arenas that I've seen Bob in, the ability to challenge us and to create really good fundamental questions about what we might do, but also to do that in a way that keeps people around the table and keeps people engaged together, working as a group to develop solutions to often very complex problems.
He has incredibly high expectations of himself. He has very high expectations of people.
The chance to co-found ProClarity, Bob could have done that without me, but I never could have done it without him.
He cannot talk without drawing. First time I went to him with one of my crazy ideas, I presented this, and then I said, so Bob, does this make sense? I'm not seeing how things hold together. And he jumped up to the whiteboard, my words. Bob probably doesn't jump, but he leapt up and he lectured me for half an hour. He had circles and formulas and graphs all over the whiteboard, basically saying, oh yeah, you've got something here. Let's play with it.
He's incredible at solving problems using technology. And, you know, the company that he's leading right now is, I believe in 5 years from now, people are going to look back and say, White Cloud Analytics fundamentally changed for the better healthcare in this country.
With that problem, and says, okay, how can I solve that problem better than I did last month, last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? What do I know that's different? What tools do I have that allow me to make a better solution now than what I ever have done before?
It's interesting to build a business. It's more interesting to build a business that provides meaningful value to people and society. And when you look at what White Cloud really is focused on, it's focused on a key problem for society today, which is the quality of the healthcare outcomes and controlling the cost to get that level of quality. the biggest thing that I learned from Bob is how to think about what really matters in making a decision and what is just noise. And so what Bob's particularly good at is thinking through things in a very logical, stepwise, analytical fashion.
I'd say he's an aggressive learner, loves wine. He's also really good at finding the right phrase to say things.
Bob's typically one of the smarter people in the room, and maybe the smartest person in the room, but he has a very humble style of intellect, and that creates a passion for other people. I think that pulls other people into his idea or his way of thinking.
Bob is a really fine person who always tries to do the right thing and is an incredibly effective leader, both in terms of challenging all of us to be better, as well as working with us to help all of us succeed and continue to enhance our skills and our ability in this state, and to affect positive change.
Well, howdy there. I know you're expecting that Jamie Cooper here to do this intro. Well, you ain't got him. I'm his brother Hank, smarter one of the duo. And my fool brother, he's out making commercials for the TV or some such and asked me to do this. Damn fool. Says he's introduced Bob speaking all over. Places like Lisbon and Amsterdam, London and the like. Hard to imagine. I guess no one around these parts wanted much to do with them two. Well, for some reason, my brother was always dressing up as some crazy character and giving old Bob a ribbon. Anyway, this here story is about old Bobby, Robert, or Bob, as some of you city types call him. Our story starts out right back here in Montana, God's country. Back before old Bobby went on to be a national racket squash champion and entrepreneur. I bet you didn't know he played a mean game of racket squash, did you? Well, folks, he didn't start off no legend in technology, nothing else for that matter. Started off living on a mountaintop, right around here, with none of the luxuries of a fancy upbringing or any highfalutin education. Had to make it for himself the old-fashioned way. Well, we'll skip on forward in the story to when it really gets moving, and old Bob thought up an idea for a company they called Pro Clarity. That was later sold to another big old outfit out of Washington State, not the capital of them bastards. Anyways, that one there goes by the handle of Microsoft. Expect you might have heard of them. Old Bobby, well, he's also got a soft spot in his heart for the kids. Worked awful damn hard. I reckon a fella shouldn't say damn in front of the kids, but damn hard on education in Idaho with that Idaho Business for Education, or IBE as they call it. Now I know all this sounds a little bit suspicious, don't it? But it ain't. Old Bob's got a good heart. And I guess this is all just telling you why someone like Bob deserves your fancy little Hall of Fame. Between me and you and the old fence post, if you ain't gonna ask this guy to be in your hall, well, you better look out. You see, he's a fellow that's not much satisfied with the status quo, as they call it. Not sure that comes from technology, but likely that's just Bob. He ain't one for sitting around dreaming. He'll have that hall of yours in a big mess in about an hour. And you folks, you're gonna have yourself an action item list about as long as your arm. But I figure you've already thought a lot about that either way. I'm just a warning you. He'll make you so crazy you'll be talking to an empty chair. But in all seriousness, folks, I don't know about you, but I sleep a little better at night knowing old Bobby's out there thinking about better ways to harness that technology he's working with. For the good of our community and the good of all of us. You know, a smart old German by the name of Goethe once said, "Genius develops in quiet places, character out in the full current of human life." Well, folks, I appreciate you hearing me out on this deal, but I suppose that about wraps her up on Bob. Puts a bow on it, as a fella says. I think I'll just mosey on over to the bar for one of them drinks from one of our sponsors, Stoli Reeves. I reckon I never knew that vodka had 2 names. Either way, it sure spruces up a sarsaparilla mighty nice. Bob, you're a rare one indeed, and I like your style. Congratulations, old friend. Come on up.